Hello and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian and this is going to be my New World controller guide to help you configure your controller for the best possible experience when playing New World. Now this is all a preview build and there's sure to be changes to come, and I know I'm going to be providing lots of feedback to the devs, but if you got any feedback, any thoughts you want me to pass along, be sure to let me know in the comments below, as well as any questions. If this guide doesn't really help address some of the concerns you have or how to do X, Y, and Z, please just let me know. I'm here to make sure and help as best as I can. Now, if you're a returning subscriber, what's up, Soul Nation? Thanks for coming back, and you know you got a big brain. So with that compliment out of the way, let's go ahead and first dive in. And we're going to start with the settings. You can see I'm running in big picture mode. It doesn't matter whether you're running in big picture mode or not, but we're going to go and click on settings, and we're going to go into controller settings. And you can see here, I am rocking Xbox configuration support. This is very critical. When not doing this, it doesn't work the way that I wanted it to. And you can see here, detected controllers. I'm going to click on Xbox One, and here is where I'm going to show you my defined layout. This should be the default layout. Keep that in mind. I then manage the rest of my settings in the game itself, and I'll show you those here in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and dive in. You can see here, I'm not going to read them off to you, but I want you to look at the thing. You can pause the video if at any time these aren't mapped the way that you need them to. So take a screenshot, pause the video. This is what you want to have set up. I'm going to just hit save, and no, I'm not going to upload that for the time being. Now, if I go ahead and go back into the game itself, we're going to go ahead and continue with the settings within the game itself. And then at the end of this video, I've got some thoughts, and we'll do some more guides here in a little bit. Now, as far as it goes, the layout here, you can see obviously using the left stick and the right stick is going to allow me to now move around the world. I've got my sword drawn, and if you use the up, the right, and the down buttons, that's going to be how you cycle your weapons. And even with your weapons, you can actually then put them away. So if I draw out my sword by hitting up on the D-pad, I can now put my sword away. If I hit left or right on the D-pad, I've got that ability, or excuse me, that weapon. And then down on the D-pad is going to be my level 30 weapon. I'm going to stick with my sword for now, but I'm going to show you the bow here in a bit. Now, left on the D-pad is actually going to be my number 4 ability. This is going to allow me right now to eat some food. This is perfect for food or for potions. And then using the right trigger is going to allow me to attack. I can just tap it for a light attack, or I can hold it for a heavy attack. And I'll show you guys some combat here in just a little bit. Now with the sword and shield, I can press the left trigger, and now I'm holding my shield accordingly, and I'm able to kind of block and dodge attacks. Speaking of dodging, you can press the A button to dodge left, right, forward, and back depending on the direction that you're facing, but that's going to use your stamina, so kind of keep that in mind. Over here on the right hand side, you can see my different abilities. By pressing, in this case, and this, I'll show you this configuration in just a second, left bumper is going to be basically my wheel down or Q by default ability. Pressing X is going to be my R ability, and then pressing Y is going to be my F ability. So if you're keeping up, A is dodge, X is going to be R, Y is going to be the F key, and then left bumper is going to be that Q key, or in this case now remap to wheel down, and I'll show you that like I said. So those are the skills on that. B is going to be my interaction button. So if I just kind of come over here, it looks like we've got a black boar that needs some skinning. I can press B. This is to accept quests, complete quests, interact with the world, cut down trees, skin boars, pick up loot. B is going to be your kind of interaction ability. So you can see here I am cutting down this tree and make it progress, so I can interact with the world by doing that. I'm going to go and sheath my weapon again by pressing the up key on the D-pad, and if I click the right stick, I'm actually going to start running. This is going to be something you're going to actually have to map, because by default you would actually have to hold down the right stick to run, and it's not comfortable to do so on a controller, so I'll show you how that's managed here in a second. So we covered the face buttons, we covered all of that. Your right bumper is only going to zoom in, and this is going to be something that you can easily map to any other ability or skill that you want, and I'll show you that actually how to do it. Pressing the select button or the back button is going to bring up your inventory, and then pressing the start button is going to bring up your main menu. If you click on settings under key bindings, this is kind of how everything is managed. You can see I've changed the weapon ability 1 to wheel down, aka left bumper, but you could easily change that to wheel up, aka right bumper, to figure out what works the best for you in this case. So just note, wheel up and wheel down is set to left bumper and right bumper for some unknown reason, but that's how it is, and I'm going to be sure to providing that feedback. I also have set auto walk to shift. This is essentially what you want. It's by default set to equals on the keyboard, and if you don't want to have to keep reaching over to the keyboard to press it, I'd recommend setting it here, because otherwise you're going to end up having to hold that down, and it's not comfortable by any means. So just kind of play around with that. And then if you want some inversion, if you want some different things like that, that's all going to be done under your under the gameplay settings itself. Unfortunately, right now, you still have to use the escape key, and maybe that's going to be something that I would change to maybe right bumper or whatever as a part of the controller. I'll let you know if I do any other additional changes to the game itself in future videos. So if you're also looking for more New World videos, and this is the one that's recommended, and the game's been out for a while, check the top link in the description of this for a playlist, so that way you can get more information. All right. Okay, I think it's important actually at this point to talk about bow and arrows. So for aiming perspectives, if you have a weapon that's a ranged weapon, you're going to have to use the L trigger. So you don't have, like, remember how on Sword and Shield, that's block? Well, in this case, holding down L is going to allow you to aim and fire, and then using the right trigger is going to allow you to fire. You can see here, it's much better than it was, especially previously in previous builds of the game, but it's still a little bit janky when it comes down to aiming with the bow and arrow. So just kind of play around with it, just your settings, just your sensitivities, and that way maybe you'll be able to find the most, I guess, comfortable form for bow and arrows to play the game with. So I think we've covered everything, at least in terms of my setup and how I've got everything kind of configured and how I interact with the world. I hope that you dive in and you kind of make this your own. Hopefully this guide gets you started and you can have some fun mapping out the controls with the game itself and really dive into this preview. If you got any questions about the game, again, be sure to subscribe if you feel like we earn it, and hit that like button if you feel like we earn it, because we've got more New World videos that are set to roll out. And we also have a New World radio podcast. The link will be in the description as well if you guys are interested in checking out more of our thoughts about the game itself. I'm really impressed. I really think this is going to be something quite substantial, and it could be very powerful. Just running around chasing this invisible wolf in the world is so much fun, and when you're able to play the game on a controller itself, it just feels really good. It feels really good. It's honestly one of the critiques that I've had with Guild Wars 2 in hopes that they would bring in that native controller support. I think I'm going to just take a few more minutes, and by the way, guys, my channel members are the reason why we don't do mid-roll ads, especially in guides, here on the channel. So be sure to thank them for their time and effort. But as far as it goes, you have a journal, you've got documents right here. As you go and you find lore in the game, it's got that library that you're collecting. So if any lore buffs out there, like I love video game lore, I'm happy that I want to go find all the different documents, all the different books to go and, compile that and more. It has standard stuff like you would expect, but look at this map. This map is massive. And we're kind of getting more into I think I probably should do kind of a getting started guide for players. I just want to spend a little bit more time, make sure I have all the ins and outs of everything. But you can see the different zones are being claimed already by different factions and different companies. And I think that's really exciting. The fact that some of these zones are taking so long to be able to be controlled is interesting. And I'm telling you, you could spend all day like right here, and it's going to take you forever to explore this world. And it looks like there's also more worlds and more zones that might be added in the future, as well as more weapons. Speaking of weapons, I think it's only fair that we kind of jump in here. Here I am on the sword. You can see here wheel down, R and F. And this is critical because if I wanted to change that to kind of that sprinting sword, you can easily just change out what skills that you want according to how you've got this laid out. So it's easy as kind of unlocking the skills and more. We'll be sure to put some build guides and stuff together for you guys as you're interested in it, because again, I'm just really impressed. I really enjoy the fact that everything I'm doing is getting me levels. I love the user interface here and more. So there's so much that we can talk about, and basically at this point, what do you guys want to see out of this game? What do you want to know more about? And that way I can try to tailor some of this content for you to kind of give you the information you want. Like I said, if you feel like this was a help, be sure to share this video out to other people, because that's going to help. But that honestly is the best way you can say thanks for it. But we're gonna go wrap up now. For Ginger Prime, my name's Brian. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you've had a fantastic day and you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until next time, take care.